Hello, Gemini. Elsie here to do a reading for you. How are you, Gemini? I hope you're well. Thank you so much for clicking here. Let's find out what's going on. We're going to do a 9-card read for you, Gemini, and let's find out what's going on for you. If you are celebrating, happy Mother's Day. I hope it was lovely for you. I was able to spend some time with my son, which made me very happy. He brought me some flowers here, and that was really very kind. It's not something he usually does, so it's kind of nice. So I hope yours was lovely. Let's find out what's going on for you, Gemini, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter signs. We're going to do a 9-card draw. And then at the end of this video, I'll tell you about how to find the extended. And if you want a private read, I'll talk about that as well. Tell me about Gemini. We've got the 7 of Wands. We've got the King of Pentacles. And we've got the Chariot in the reverse. I feel like somebody here is trying to protect their material wealth or protect their stability, protect your finances. This could be a warning, or this could be something that's going on right now. When the Chariot is in the reverse, it feels as though things are not moving. Like maybe you've lost your job, or maybe you have, I'm not predicting you're going to lose your job. If you have lost your job, this is maybe what I'm feeling for you here. It does feel like you are protecting your material wealth, or like, I got to keep the money in the bank. It feels like something here stopped because the Chariot is in the reverse. It's stopped. I've got to get more disciplined with my finances because I don't know where the next dollar is coming from. Tell me more. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. We've got the Ace of Cups, and we've got the Ace of Swords. So a couple aces going on. Heart of the matter is the Ace of Cups. So I'm going to say I feel like you do have enough right now. I feel like you do have enough. I feel like you have built a bit of a kingdom or a bit of a financial cushion here. And it does feel like you do have enough. I'm going to say that for those of you who are worried because right now you're not working, I feel like there's going to be a conversation coming up that is going to move things forward. And it is going to be a conversation with someone who is thriving in their life. So I feel like this conversation will be good because you'll be mirroring this person. It feels like they will respect you for the kind of person that you are, because these two are very grounded, very slow, very literal, kind of practical, right? Have a very practical way about them. And I feel like whoever is about to give you the interview, the person who will give you clarity, the person who's going to help you get out of this Chariot energy that is in the reverse, I feel like this person is somebody who, the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. They're very planned. This could be the CEO is what I'm saying, right? Capricorn is known as the CEO of the zodiac. And so this could be the CEO that you're interviewing with. It feels like this person is very generous. They're very kind. They're somebody who's willing to pay well. And if your cup is not running over right now financially, I feel like this could be the gateway to that. We've got the Magician here. So they are looking for someone with a specific set of skills and resources. They are looking for someone who knows how to use the tools. So I'm going to say that to me tells me in terms of your career, your work, all of that. It feels like they're looking for someone with a specific set of skill, like a very different skill set. This is Gemini and Aries for me, so it feels like they're looking for someone who can have the duality of being highly intelligent, but also being very driven and motivated, and knows how to use the tools. So maybe you come with some sort of certificate, or maybe you have a bachelor or master's or something. So they want to know that you're able to use the tools that have been given to you. But this person who is about to interview you is going to see you as somebody who is very abundant, who's very, I'm going to say heart-centered, because this is the center of the read. It feels like they want someone who can be compassionate, but also kind, but also someone who can speak the truth anytime that it's needed, and knows has a specific set of skills to be able to deal with people who are in the Nine of Wands energy. So I'm going to say that possibly I could be talking to someone who's a trauma counselor, or somebody who is speaking with people, motivating them to get unstuck. People who are feeling burnt out. Like, it feels like you need to have a specific set of skills. You could be going into I'd say a culture of people who work really hard and are very burnt out. Like, maybe you're going to be a motivator of how to be more practical. Maybe you're going to teach them practicality. Maybe you'll be writing processes. We have the Knight of Wands, teaching them how to be brave, how to get out of this burnout phase that they're in. I feel like you're the person for the job because you have the right skill set. We'll talk more about this. Let's find out what's going on underneath the surface. We'll put down 2 cards here. Let's find out what's going on here. We've got the Knight of Cups. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Look at, we've got all 3 knights out here. We've got 3 knights. The only one that we don't have is the Knight of Swords. Very interesting. So the Knight of Wands tells me that you are a speaker of truth that motivates people. Makes them feel brave. When they're stuck, you make them feel brave. Why? Because I feel like you were stuck as well. I feel like you're teaching from knowledge, and not from, like, you're teaching from practical knowledge, not from just reading books, not just because you have a bachelor or a master's in whatever you're teaching. It's because you also have life life lessons, I would say. And that's how you've learned to be the King of Pentacles. That's how you've learned to be a person who can continue to build your kingdom, even though things got in your way, stopped your money flow, stopped your workflow. I feel like you're a person who is about to teach other people about how to be brave in times of burnout, and how you can make the most of it anyway. We've got the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles underneath the surface, which is really interesting because the Knight of Pentacles is the one who's doesn't really care about when we get to the outcome. I just want to make sure that I really enjoy the journey. I think that's part of what you're teaching. And also with the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Cups is the one who is, putting their whole heart into it, but also isn't worried about how fast they get to the outcome. They're a person who, can get lost along the way, dilly-dallying and taking detours and going where my heart sends me. I feel like you're organizing people. It feels like you're organizing them, that you are a person who has lived through this already, and that you are a person who's organized, or you wouldn't be showing up as the King of Pentacles. Tell me more about the King of Pentacles, please. We've got the Nine of Cups. Yeah. It feels like you're in alignment with self. You're in alignment on the inside and on the outside. The outside is the King of Pentacles, and I feel like the inside is wish fulfillment. So you're a person who doesn't really worry about external validations. You're a person who is very driven, very practical. I know all the steps I need to take. I know what I need to learn to get to the next outcome. And I feel like you are a person, oh, look at that. We called out the Knight of Swords, and there he was. I feel like you're a person who gives clear information. You lay out a very clear picture of where a person is and where they need to be, and I feel like you've got no bones about it, because that's who you are, Gemini, right? The Knight of Swords is here, and that's your energy. So I feel like because you're in alignment, you speak to people in a way that other people might feel a bit crass. But I feel like when you are speaking to people, that's when you whip out the water energy that you have. I feel like you might have a water placement, and you soften the blow, but you're still going to say it truthfully, aggressively, and no, you keep telling me that you're willing to do anything, but I gave you 6 ways that you can get yourself out of the Nine of Wands, but you're telling me that you give me 500 reasons why you can't do those 6 things. So clearly you don't really want to do it. Like, I feel like you're being really honest and truthful with people. You could be a money manager, or somebody who is a CFO, or it feels like you're dealing at a high level, because I feel like you're dealing with the CEO. So you might be pulled into a corporation to clean them up and say, no, you're making bad money decisions. You can't do that for this company. I feel like you are somebody who is very in alignment with your your material wealth. And so I feel like you are somebody who really gets to the bottom of things. So I feel like people trust you because you are somebody who comes off as someone who's in the Two of Cups. You walk in, you get to know people. Like, you're not just there to bark orders, I don't think. You're a person who's very practical. And Taurus, right? Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, very grounded. I feel people trust you immediately, and they immediately begin to tell you all about themselves, because the Two of Cups is about deepening the bond or exchanging, intimacies with each other. How much you make, where do you come from, do you have children, those kinds of intimacies. And so I feel like these are the people that you are meant to motivate, be honest with. I feel like you have gotten to a place in your life where you have, I'm not going to say made enough money, but that your presence speaks for itself, Gemini. Tell me about the Queen of Pentacles here. I believe this is probably your boss. We got the Five of Wands. We've got the Two of Pentacles. This person has been struggling to make a decision about something. It's about the rebuilding or the restructuring of something. This person is somebody who wants to be able to trust the people that work around them. And I feel like they've been struggling internally to make a decision about rebuilding a group or maybe getting a new culture within the business. We've got the Four of Wands in the reverse. Something has gone wrong. There's no more stability here. I can't make a decision based on the information that I have because nobody will talk to me. I feel like you're there to talk. Look, I've worked in corporations like this before where somebody walks in, an external party, and says, nope, you can't do that, because the reason your people aren't motivated is because you keep doing these 5 things. It feels like you're going to be hired to do something like that, or possibly it's something that someone will notice about you while you're on the job that you're in. It feels like you're going to be leading, because the King of Pentacles is a leader in finances, stability, practicality, being very pragmatic and slow. It feels like you're a person who's very detail-oriented, I would say. So the Ace of Swords is the Eight of Cups. Oh boy, look, I feel like you're the person that goes in and says, look, this person's eating up your profits. They're not doing what they signed on to do. This person is taking too much time off. They are not doing all the things that are required of them in their contract. I feel like you're the person that they're calling in to do a little bit of cleanup. It feels like that. We've got the World card. The World card and the Eight of Cups tells me that we've got to accomplish a milestone here. And that is, we got to stop settling for people who are not actively doing their job. This really does feel like a career reading for somebody here. It feels like you are being called in because not only are you a person who will speak the truth, but you have the ability to have this duality, Gemini, and sometimes people don't like it about you, but I love it because the duality is that I can be kind and loving and sweet in order to glean the information that I need from you, and then I'm going to give you the swords. I'm going to tell you exactly the reasons why we need to cut here, we have to cut there. It feels like that there is some sort of something here, like a milestone or an accomplishment, like the closing of a chapter here, and we got to stop settling for what we're settling for. We need to bring somebody in here who can speak the truth, be honest, make the hard decisions. You know what it feels like? It feels like this person here is somebody who is, the Queen of Pentacles is somebody who is very organized and can float the boat herself. She doesn't need anybody to float the boat for her. She's very much in control of her finances, of her health, of her stability, of all of that. She can do it on her own, but I feel like what she's looking for is bad cop. Looking for somebody who can have the duality of being bad cop and good cop at the same time, because this person has a lot on their plate. They're doing a lot of good things in their life, helping in the community. Like, this person has a lot of things that they're organizing, and so I feel like somebody is calling in someone who has this King of Swords energy, which is going to look over the details, not be attached to anybody in the business, but look at the details and say, this is where you're losing money. This is where you're losing people's interest. This is where these people are not motivated and these are the reasons why. It feels like you're here to put the heart back in the working culture is what it feels like. But because you have this duality of being kind and compassionate and loving, but also very honest and truthful. Like, I'm not your friend here. I'm here to do a job, but I am going to try and do everything in terms of a heart, this heart-centered manner. Tell me about the Nine of Wands. We've got the Emperor. we've got the Hermit, and we've got the Six of Pentacles. So I feel like you are someone who is pretty much an expert at details. I feel like you read everybody. I feel like you can read everybody. The Hermit is very good at reading everybody. That's Virgo energy. Nothing gets past Virgo. Not a raised eyebrow, not a smirk, nothing. Nothing gets past Virgo. So the Hierophant energy tells me that you are very spiritual, because I feel like you are a person who has spent a lot of time on yourself cultivating your spirituality. It feels like you're a person who is a person of influence. So you're easily influencing other people. People trust you because you have a track record of being stable and sturdy and not just off with their heads, right? You're not a person who's looking to go in and fire a bunch of people. You're there to make sure that you can make this culture work. But I feel like it's because you are the Emperor, which means you have, you're able to read people. You're able to read their body language. You're able to read between the lines. I feel like your spirituality and the way that you treat people is really a very it's a talent, I would say. It's a talent. You're very talented in this way. So I feel like you're being called in to some sort of corporation, or maybe the one that you're in, to pick out the ones that are at the midst of burnout and find out why. And that might even point back to the CEO. Like, this person might be expecting way too much. I feel like you're here with the swords, right? The Ace of Swords is showing up with the King of Swords because there's some hard decisions to be made, and they're looking at someone who can look objectively at the culture, at the business, and figure out exactly what's going on. And you're not at risk of, like, it feels like consulting almost. Like, you're not at risk of losing your job. I think you're supposed to be here to say, look, I'm looking at the data and the facts. And the fact of the matter is the reason people are burnt out is because you're overworking them and underpaying them, because you're letting too many people go, or whatever it is. But I feel like you're going to be honest and truthful. We're going to go into the extended. This is very interesting. If you're interested in going to the extended and finding out what happens here, it does feel like if you don't have a job, that you have all of the skills of the magician. It feels like you do what you say. You say what you do. When you make a promise, you make good on it. But I also feel like you're a person who's being called in to fix something. So to get things back on track, to get things more stable, to help make better decisions, to stop this person from being overwhelmed. It feels like they have, they're keeping it all in order. The CEO is keeping it all in order, but it feels like maybe they can't trust their management team. Maybe you're in there to shake some fingers at their management team. We're going to go into the extended. If you want to be there, please look in the comments. There is a pinned comment at the top of the comments. And there is, at the top of the comments, there's also a link there for a private read. So if you're interested in coming to watch me in the extended, because we don't know what's going to happen. The moon just showed up. If you want to see the extended, then please go there. If you're interested in a private reading, please click the link for Hypsee to see all my prices and packages. I'm going to go for now, but I'll be back because I'm always back. Take care of you. I'm out. Thanks, Gemini. Bye-bye.